Hi everybody, I'm Christy from Gardenerd, and this is a tree kale, or a tree collard, but it's a tree, and you can eat it, which is cool. So this is something I grew from a tiny, tiny little plant way long ago. It was only this tall when I got it, and it has grown to taller than me. I'm 5'8", and it's time to transplant some cuttings because tree kale only propagates from cuttings. There's a bee in the lens. Fantastic. So it's time to propagate some of these branches into new tree kale because tree kale only propagates from cuttings. It doesn't grow from seed. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. Rumor has it you can just take a leaf and cut it and stick it straight in the soil. So we're going to try that, but we're also going to take a few cuttings and propagate them in 4-inch pots and see which does better. So I'm going to start by cutting the branch off. And next, I'll start taking some of the small leaves that are in the center of the plant. And we'll use those to start over. So let's go over to the table, shall we? Okay, so there are a lot of leaves here, but what I want are these center leaves that are young and tender, because these are the guys that are going to turn into something. So I'm going to take all of these off, and we'll give them to the chickens, or eat them for now. And then we get down to the nitty-gritty of these guys here. So I'm looking at these three guys here. So I'm actually going to pull them off so they've got a little rough edge rather than cut them. That's just my instinct. Don't really know what I'm doing here, but hey, it's perfect. And this last guy I'm actually going to cut because he might need some loving. All right, so ideally you want to drop these guys into some rooting hormone before you plant them. And I have honey here because honey is a sugar, and sugar is food for bacteria, which helps colonize roots. That's what we want. So I'm going to dip this guy in honey. I'm going to dip all of these in honey. And we're going to plant a couple of them in 4-inch pots and a couple of them straight in the soil. And we'll see which one works better. So for now, I'm going to take the smallest guy and dig a little hole and bury him. Doot, doot, doot. Look, isn't he pretty? And I'll take one of the big ones. So we'll have one small and one large in each. And I'm going to bury this. Now, kind of rule of thumb when you plant something, in order to generate some root growth, usually cut some of the foliage off in half, cut the leaf in half, and that focuses on root development. So heck, why not? We'll try that here with this guy. Okay, now it's time to try planting these straight in the ground. So I've moistened the soil, and I've drilled a couple of holes, and I've got my tree kale that has been dipped in honey, nectar of the gods, and now I'm just going to drop this in here and in here, and bury it. And it might be too deep, we'll see, but it's an experiment. And again, I'm just going to take the top of the leaf off one of them, and we'll see which does best. This whole thing is an experimental process. So we'll check back later and see how well we did. Through the magic of television, we have fast-forwarded about 3 months or so. The first part of this video was shot in November, and now it's the end of March. And I want to share with you the results of what the experiment yielded. Now, everything that we planted that was a single leaf, just a single leaf, dipped in honey or not, died, okay? So that would be this guy right here. Crispy did not work. Right in the garden, and I tried the one in the pot, also did not work. However, the versions where we took the apical growing point from the center of the branch of kale. We took that and cut that off and rooted that. That worked. So this guy actually sent up some new growth, and he was disturbed just yesterday. An animal came and emptied him out onto the ground. So he's actually going back into the infirmary to reestablish some root growth. But I wanted to show you it did work. And since then, a couple months later, I actually planted some additional cuttings. So this guy right here and this guy right here are both the result of rooted cuttings that have sent up new growth since planting. So that's the best way to do it. And by the way, neither of these ended up with, I didn't use any honey or rooting hormone to put them in place. So as a reminder, the best place to take a cutting from, according to the Gardenerd experiment, is from this center point of the apical growing point of the kale branch. So if you like this video, like it, subscribe to the Gardenerd channel, and share this video with your friends. And don't forget to turn on notifications so that you can find out when our next video is coming online. Happy gardening!